once respected and feared across the biker world. Armond Bletcher was a name that birthed fear, brutality, and violence. Bletcher cast an enormous shadow in the history of gang violence, with over 50 violent incidents etched to his name. The notorious Hells Angels member is arguably the biggest Hells Angels member. His oppressing height and build were enough to send enemies hiding. Armond Bletcher was not only an angel, he was a chopper enthusiast, a leg breaker, a bodyguard to stars, a rumored murderer, and most importantly, one of the biggest humans ever to claim a Hell Angel membership. Bletcher's heights and build were so intimidating that even Sonny Badger attested to it in his memoir. Arnold Bletcher was a menace who terrorized several cities and spread the gospel of the angels. It paid off. He earned his respects and became a legend in the club. But he never lived long enough to enjoy it. His huge body was dropped down by a bullet that came close to home, a bullet from the guns of his cousins. Today, we explore the story of a Hells Angels member who lived the life and died like a real-life member of the Sons of Anarchy.
With a criminal record that includes over 50 violent incidents, Armond Bletcher's name is synonymous with fear and brutality. As a notorious member of the Hells Angels, his reputation for violence and criminal activities made him a legend in the biker world.
Early life. Armond Edward Bletcher was born on November 11, 1942, in Alameda County, California, USA. Armond's father, Edward Bletcher, was a Navy veteran who fought the World War II, Korean, and Vietnam War. Edward taught Armond what resilience and strength meant. This discipline would later on reflect in Armond's future as a Hells Angels legend. Like every other kid, Armond faced several setbacks as he grew up. He was so small, and he was a prey for bullies. One day, young Armond decided it was time to put it to a stop. He decided it was time to stop looking weak and undergo a new transformation. One that would not only make him a nightmare to his bullies, but one for the entire outlaw world. Armond Bletcher took an interest in weightlifting and hit the gym every day. But he wanted more, so he added horse steroids to his weightlifting to maintain his enormous size. Arnold became a giant among men and a controversial figure till today. Now, Arnold Bletcher isn't your average bodybuilder. He weighed about 380 pounds and stood tall at 6 feet, 3 inches. But some even claimed his actual height was 6 feet and 8 inches.
One thing was certain, the Hells Angels member had a frightening height. But most importantly, Armond put it to be the best use.
Armond Bletcher made his money by working as a strong-arm bodyguard.
Armond's childhood was marked by significant challenges. Standing at 6 feet 8 inches tall and weighing 350 pounds, he faced relentless bullying due to his size, which had a lasting impact on his life.
He was bad news for anyone who wanted to hurt the person he was protecting. Instead of guns, Armond's physique and arms are enough to protect his clients. At one point, Armond Bletcher was the bodyguard of American actor and singer Frank Sinatra. When Armond was not protecting a client, he was probably working as a bouncer.
Armond Bletcher's journey to becoming a key figure in the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club was a tale of loyalty, fearlessness, and unwavering dedication. His involvement with the club began with a deep sense of camaraderie and commitment, which quickly led him to become a respected and feared enforcer.
According to Sonny Badger, Armond loved being a bouncer because he loved fighting and never lost. Armond established himself as a force to be reckoned with, and his powerful reputation grew massively. He became involved with the mafia and built strong connections. His ruthlessness towards rivals and sacrifices for the club didn't go unnoticed. He climbed through the ranks and became a respected and feared enforcer within the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. For Hells Angels members, Armond was a brother who sacrificed greatly for the club, but to rivals, he was a menace.
Reign of Terror. Armond Bletcher's reign of terror in 1970s, Fresno was marked by a series of violent and criminal exploits that made him one of the most feared figures in the region. His massive height and weight earned him the nickname Big Armond. Known for his aggressive demeanor, Bletcher's reputation for violence was well deserved.
Rise to the top. In the 1970s, Fresno experienced a great deal of violence and criminal exploits. At the forefront of this was Armond Bletcher. During that time, he made a name for himself as one of the most feared figures in the region.
One of the most notorious incidents involved an altercation at a bar called the Circle in Fresno, where he allegedly shot a man but was found to have acted in self-defense.
He was known for his ruthlessness, aggressiveness, and hostility. His enormous height and weight earned him the nickname Big Armond, and he lived up to the name. Big Armond spearheaded several assaults, but he never used guns or bats to deal with his victims. Instead, he used his intimidating height and strong arms to overpower his victims. He was so big, and it looked like he didn't feel pain. A rival gang member once recounted how Armond Bletcher ignored multiple blows from a basketball bat before he retaliated with a bone-crushing fist. Even Sonny Badger referenced Armond's striking physique in his memoir. He mentioned that Armond Bletcher was 6 feet 8 tall and weighed 350 pounds. Sonny also revealed that Armond could pick up a couple of motorcycles and put them in a truck. Sonny once said if he was going into battle and he could take 10 Hells Angels or Armond Bletcher, he would take Armond. But one day, Armond was working at the door when he got involved in an altercation. This incident marked the beginning of his end. Armond was working as a bouncer at a bar called The Circle in Fresno when he was alleged to have shot a man. They later found out that he pulled the trigger in self-defense.
The Fresno Bee newspaper reported allegations that Bletcher was a paid enforcer for local drug gangs, and the FBI sought to indict him for racketeering, although these charges were never proven.
But Armond was not a respecter of the law and had committed several crimes that would later come to haunt him. Armond Bletcher ran a drug trafficking ring. His connections with the Mafia and the Hells Angels gave him enough protection to evade law enforcement. But his physique did more work. Armond easily extorted and silenced anyone who came across his part. Until the FBI came for him.
The Fresno Bee newspaper printed allegations that Armond was a paid enforcer for local drug gangs. This caused the FBI to investigate him, seeking to indict him for racketeering. But it never saw the light of the day after Armond was found dead.
Through the Pashayan brothers. On November 25, 1975, unarmed Armond was shot dead by the last person he'd think of.
This incident showcased his ruthlessness and the fear he instilled in his victims. Bletcher's connections with the Hells Angels and his friendship with their president, Sonny Badger, provided him a cloak of protection. These affiliations, along with his ties to the staff at Easy Rider magazine,
his cousins. At the time, Arnold was being investigated by the feds for various illegal activities. Having his lifestyle and exploits plastered on Easy Rider's magazines made matters worse, so he needed a legitimate source of income, or at least get them to believe he had an honest source of income. As a result, he approached his cousins, the Pashayan brothers, to say he was on their tire shop payroll, so he could account for his income. But the Pashayan brothers did not want to be involved. On that fateful day, Armond allegedly went to the tire shop to deal with them for refusing to put him on their shop's payroll. Before he stormed the shop, he had repeatedly called the Pashayan brothers, asking whether they had snitched to the FBI.
His connection to steroids was a significant part of his fearsome reputation, making him an even more formidable figure in the biker community. On November 25, 1975, Armond's life came to a tragic end. He was shot and killed by his cousins, the Pashayan brothers, at their tire shop in Fresno. The brothers
20 minutes after his last call, Armond was at the tire shop. The brothers maintained that came over and threatened to kill them for refusing to lie for him. They ambushed him and hit him severely with a baseball. But that did not slow him down. Eventually, they brought out a gun and fired 2 warning shots into the concrete at Bletcher's feet. But that didn't sway him. Instead, Bletcher advanced towards them. Josh Pashayan then fired 3 bullets from his 9mm pistol, which hit Arnold in the back.
Armond Bletcher's life left an indelible mark on the world of motorcycle clubs. His larger-than-life persona, his connections with the Hells Angels, and his violent reputation made him a legendary figure. Despite his tragic end,
The brothers claimed self-defense against unarmed Bletcher. Armond Bletcher was just 33 years old at the time. We may never know exactly how events unfolded that day, but one thing was certain. Armond left a legacy in the outlaw world, one that outlived him.